My name is AJ Ramos. You may know me as a baseball player. I made my debut with Miami Marlins in 2012. I became the first Marlin in club history to strike out the first 3 major league batters I faced. I led NL rookies in innings pitched. I broke club records, became an All-Star, made a comeback, and then without my permission, my body said it was done. I was forced to retire, and with my entire life being centered around AJ the baseball player, I found myself lost and confused about who I really was outside of the sport. And now, I'm on a journey of enduring that molding process all over again. The process of finding out, who is AJ? And as I spend time with some of the most amazing people at their craft and begin to peel back the layers of their process, I ultimately want to understand who we all are when the lights turn off, when the cameras stop rolling, and when the clock strikes 0. My name is AJ Ramos, and this is The Locker Room.
After loading him up with nobody out, and he gets him. He strikes out Tomas.
What a comeback by AJ Ramos.
What is this and why now?
This is The Locker Room. The reason I'm doing this is when I first came up with it, it was because I came up with it and thinking, man, I got to do something. So what do I love? What can I do that can inspire? So I named out three things that I love. I love working out. I love talking about the process, having deeper talks, and I love health and wellness and just that whole process. And so I thought of something that can evolve to help people. And then as I started to kind of put things together and go further into this journey, I started to realize, like, man, I want to talk to people because I want to know who I am as a person separate from baseball. Because all I could ever think about and want to do in my life has been baseball. And I've crafted my whole life to support that. Like, I didn't have time to think about anything else. I didn't have time to analyze anything and like have a normal, I had a normal childhood, but it was all on like, yeah, but I got to go play baseball still because I want to achieve something that was frankly probably out of my reach when you look at the odds. And so even though I knew it was out of my, the odds weren't in my favor, I knew that, all right, in order for that to be a reality, I have to eat, shit, sleep, baseball. Like, literally, you know what I mean? It was all I could think of, man. And so I kind of built my identity around that. And in the process of retiring now, I'm retired, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I'm trying to figure out who the hell that is. And my hopes is that I can talk to other people so that they can almost show me the way or show me how they handle things. Initially, I was like, oh man, I can talk to these people and they can show their mindsets, and people who haven't achieved success can learn from it and in hopes to achieve their whatever version of success. And then as I'm going through it, I'm like, man, I just want to know how to be cool with myself. You know what I mean? I want to know how to be content, but also be driven, because that I could not feel content in my career because there's always someone coming after your spot. I could not feel content. It's like, so I don't understand what it is to feel that way. So, and when I talk to these successful people, hopefully I can get an understanding of how to balance that contentment with drivenness, so that I can enjoy the times where there's nothing going on and have the drive to be able to handle when there's a lot of things going on. Because I feel like if you're too content, then you're when shit's popping off, you're like, this is too much. I get anxiety from this shit. But if you're too driven, when there's nothing going on, there's not enough. I'm getting anxiety from this shit. So there's it's a hard place to be in one extreme. So I want to figure out how to be more in the middle. When I've been to the extreme part of being too driven. It's just, which was good when I had something to be driven about, but now I'm retired. Like, I don't know what I like. So this is a journey to figure out what I like.
Are you gonna eat pancakes for breakfast? Or are you gonna play me and throw them on the ground?
What are you doing?
Oh, you used water anyway. We didn't get almond milk for oatmeal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just use water. Yeah, so today we're gonna roll up to Santa Barbara. I'm excited to get some work in so you can see a little bit of my process. Workouts are gonna be a little bit different than whenever I was playing, but it's still gonna kick my ass, so this is gonna be fun. Let's see. I know which one I want.
ASAP.
Nah. Mm. Mm. Good morning.
Asleep.
Nice.
What are you making?
Just protein oatmeal.
I am so cold for some reason. What is that on? Like, I'm about to put a blanket around me.
Really?
Yes.
Dead of summer. Freezing.
I left the desert. My body doesn't know what to do.
Kind of talk about y'all's relationship, how y'all met.
Yeah, so you were like you were jumping in my DMs. You were like, what else were you doing? You're just like standing outside my hotel room, like going places. I just couldn't get away from you. And you just like kept pursuing me. It was like a little bit obsessive, but I was like, she's kind of cute. She's kind of cute. Like, she's a little crazy, but them crazy ones down for you. That's about what it was like, huh? How we got this thing going, how Luna came along. No, so
Set the record straight.
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, AJ and I were just friends until one day we weren't. Like, I wasn't quite sure where, but you were like, man, I knew. I always knew.
I did. Like G knew. I told G. He's like, man, you trying to have a girlfriend? I'm like, not right now, but I don't know if I'm ready to like take away some of my attention and my focus from the game.
Yeah.
And even though, and that's the thing, man. Like even though like going through the whole process that we've been through when I was still playing when we were together, even then that was still taking away, like it took away focus. And you were the most understanding person that I think that could ever be involved with that situation.
Yeah.
So like, I was, but also too, I was going through like trying to come back from a major surgery and injury, especially in the game.
There's a lot of factors there.
So there's a lot of things that made it.
Even I think that much more energy needed to go into your career because it wasn't all good.
Yeah.
You just had to show up as your normal 100%. It was like, I have to give my normal 100% plus overcompensate for this injury. And really, yeah, that like doubled the workload, I would say.
Yeah.
What was something that pushed you through that disappointment and that injury?
Which one? So I had surgery in 2018, and I had the injury that retired me. Though they were both the shoulder. So what helped me get through that injury was knowing that I really gave everything I had. Like I spent countless hours trying to search every answer, every workout, every recovery modality, just so much research into how to help my body perform, how to throw without pain. My last years in the big leagues, I spent probably, so if we had a game at 7, I would go to the field at 2, and I'd go head straight to the training room and be there from 2:15 to 3:25 or so, doing exercises, my pre-workout stuff. And then we go practice at like 4 or so. And then after practice, I go back and do my post practice arm routine to stay warm. Then I'd eat, and then I go into the locker room. So the game would be at 7. I go in the locker room at around 6:50 and start doing my arm process again, because anytime there was any stagnant time where I wasn't moving around, like my arm was in pain when I started to move it again. So like I had to always keep it moving. So it was like from 2 all the way till if I pitched, I usually pitched late in the game. So it would be around 9:45. And then after the game, I would do my post pitching routine. So there was so much work into it that I did every day, and without complaining about it too much. You know what I mean? I mean, of course I complain about it, but like, it was like, this is what you have to do. This is acceptance. Like, if you want to play, if you want to try to pitch without pain, this is what you got to do. So I accepted that, and I took on the challenge. And then so that part also wore on me. It made the game not as enjoyable for me. And so it was hard after that. So I was kind of questioning, like, how much longer can I do this? How much longer do you want to sink into this? Because like, it's wearing on you mentally so bad. I mean, I would come home completely exhausted and not being able to interact with Erica like I wanted to, you know? It's like, and she did such a great job in like trying to divert my attention to other places. And even when I was came back in the worst mood, like it was amazing, man. It was amazing to see. And it sucks because I was sitting there like trying to get out of that mood, and I just could not budge. And she was still just trying something else, you know, like, let's go here, let's go eat dinner here, let's do this. And it was like I really saw that, and thank you for that. Like that shit was I love you too. Damn. Yeah. Whew. Man, that wine is spicy.
We'll do 6 rounds.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, no, that's perfect. That's still, like we talked about. Like,
I mean, you're working out. Like, we'll do like a real workout. We'll just shorten it a little bit.
Yeah.
Not as many rounds. You know,
Yeah.
you normally do.
Hi,
how are you?
Hi, good.
I think a long time ago.
Did you?
At the gym in Beverly Hills, a long time
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
2016, maybe
Yeah.
17.
Well, it's great to see you. This is Luna.
Thank you.
Peter Park has been a trainer for me since 2014. He was one of the trainers that got me to be All-Star in 2016. His workouts are very hard. One of the reasons I like those workouts was because it allowed me to get the effects of what you feel when you're have ultra adrenaline. But these workouts, there's obviously no adrenaline, it's just the effects, like heart rate, breathing fast, and like these workouts helped me control that, so when I got in those high stress situations on the field, I was able to have familiarity with that and then be able to control it because I've been in that space before with the effects. So he's gonna put us through a nice workout today, and hopefully I don't look too bad on camera doing it, because they are tough. So let's roll.
It's a whole nother world. It's kind of everyone knows about.
Fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, so not a game. I'm just working through the city, in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if you see it, then I want it. You know I got it, and I'm watching from the back, do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, catch
Then you go to the upper body. You're gonna go push. You're gonna row. Rack carry, same thing. And you come out to the stop sign. You're pushing the sled.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, it's like, is that all? I mean, fuck, anything else?
Enjoy watching myself.
He'll read the workouts. God damn it! I'm like what? He's like, Peter just sent me my workout.
Sir, 4 of those would be hard.
4 of those might be dead.
Harder than it seems, huh?
The harder you go.
Yeah, the harder it is.
Yeah.
It's like that bike.
Yeah. It gives you resistance.
My name is Peter Park. This is Platinum Fitness here. I've been a trainer since 1996. I started out as a pro athlete, a triathlete. I trained Lance Armstrong for a long time, and he was a big person that catapulted me into training, big time athletes and actors and stuff. And so that's where I met AJ, kind of in the middle of that whole thing when I was growing up in LA. And I just, there's not another job I could imagine myself doing. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I just pretty much hang out with my friends all day and make people better. That's what I do all day long.
I was living in Texas in 2013, and then Giancarlo and Ricky hit me up and were like, hey, why don't you come move out to LA? Yeah. And G was like, yo, I got this guy you need to train with. Because I know how you like to train. Yeah. Said he's right up your alley. So came out here and we worked out. Well, it was actually in LA. And
I remember the day it was yesterday. I remember because I trained Giancarlo when he was young, 2010.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And I always was a little too intense for him.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but just
Right. I mean, he required something different. For me, you're right up my alley because I feel like I had to give everything that I had in order to achieve that.
Every ounce of your...
Every ounce. G has incredible talent or an incredible power, that no one has. So that allowed him to not have to work to achieve that. Me, shorter guy, didn't throw 100 miles an hour. I had to do this type of shit so that I could get the most out of my career. And I think meeting you helped me with that because there was a lot of times where I would get through one of your workouts and I'm like, oh, I handled that pretty well. But you recognize me handling it well and you're like,
go to the next one.
All right, we got one more thing. I'm like, how many one more things do we have?
But I remember that day because I remember going in and it was, AJ, you and Ricky and Giancarlo. I remember we started working out and I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's got it.
Yeah, man.
You were just different than everyone else. You had that, I always call them the Terminator eyes.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of and just the intensity turned on, and I was like, okay, this guy's.
Well, I gotta go to a certain, I gotta go to a certain part of my mind to get the most out of myself. And a lot of times it's going to that darkness, that anger thing. And I think, that helped me. A lot of these workouts helped me because it allowed me to, whenever I got in those moments where it was bases loaded, no outs, we're winning by 1 run.
Yeah.
The feeling that I have, the body feeling that I have going through these workouts when I'm doing the kettlebell walks and I'm on my 4th set of doing that shit, and it's so heavy that I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people explain anxiety like that, I can't breathe, it's short of breath, and that's kind of the similar feeling. So when I got in those in those moments in the game, I was like, oh, I dealt with this before. And I hear Peter, let's go, one more.
Yeah.
I remember the first time doing foundation stuff was like something that like, which is the things that we did to warm up. Basically, we still do foundation like for warm-ups.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that like locked my body in, because it's not about all out strength. And a lot of our workouts, we do like the hex bar to like really get the strength in my legs and build up the force.
Yeah.
And then in sport, it's not about how strong or how much force you can produce. It's how like you can use that force.
Transfer that. Yeah.
And then
what you do.
And that's one of the reasons why we do broad jumps or some sort of jump after a lot of those heavy lifts, so that we can work on transferring that. I think one of the first videos that I posted on Instagram, like I don't know how many I did, like I was hex bar deadlifting, and I watched my form then, and it was all over the place. And then we got more into like the foundation stuff, and like now I feel like my form is like the best it's ever been. Yeah. Because I have that foundation and the foundation training to like be able to like have that brace, but still be able to breathe. Yep. You know, have that solid core, and I think that foundation stuff really.
For you, it was stability, a lot of stability. Yeah. So you didn't get hurt. That was, you were strong enough. That wasn't it. And teaching you to slow down and kind of like think about what you're doing and not be so, amped up all the time. And
that's
part of the,
Yeah.
When you're out playing on the, when you're pitching, if you're all out of control, I mean, you're not going to be able to focus. And it's the same thing I see a lot of college kids when they lift. They're so like ADD and they just don't focus. And they got to slow down and think about their form and slow everything down.
I think that's what, because I compare that a lot to pitching. What I ran into a coach that was like, controlled aggressiveness is what it is. Like, you have the intensity, you have the strength, you have the ability, but your aggressiveness is what's going to get you hurt, or is going to cause you to not perform the way you want to perform. So that was one of the things you always, like, even now, with the drop squats, you're like, hey, your form is off. You're trying to correct my form to make sure that I'm in alignment, because
anyone can bully it up, but using the right muscles and everything's lined up, and like you said, we call that relaxed and awake. How you should feel when you're pitching or you're lifting. Not if you're at 10 arousal level, you're not going to do your best.
Elaborate on that.
Just they always say peak performance happens at like a 6 or 7 arousal level, like where everything's kind of slow and everything comes to you slow and everything seems big, and when you're amped up, everything's kind of small and narrow, and you just make mistakes. Yeah. The same I see with people, everyone, lifting is a skill too. And I see, a lot of the college kids come here and just try to like muscle it. And they don't think about like where their body is and if they're stacked up, if they're, locked in and breathing right and all that. I mean, it's a skill, and that's what carries over to anything else.
Yeah, like before I'm lifting like a big lift, that's the closest I can get to the feeling of whenever I was flowing while pitching. Yeah. Because I know that with this weight can hurt me if I don't do it just right. Yeah. So there's a little bit of like, not fear, but just awareness of like, this could go wrong if you don't lift it right. Yeah. So it makes me get into a space where I'm like, all right, it's a checkpoint. All right, make sure your hips are here. Make sure you brace. Make sure you lock in like your traps. So like same thing as like, make sure you're loose when you're on your leg lift. Make sure you feel that pressure on your back foot, and make sure you feel your front foot before you transition to throw. But don't try to force it. Let it explode. Let it flow out of you. So a lot of what I did in the gym, I try to equate to life. You know what I mean? All the time, whether that be in baseball and now in actual life. So like a lot of times when I think this helps control my body and my mind, and also get out some demons too.
You matured so much in just the 5 years you worked out. You used to go and you would never tell me if you were hurting. You would just bowl through it, And now, later years, you were very, you're open and like, hey, we need to, I'm tired today a little bit. Let's, that's just maturity.
Yeah, and more in tune with my body too.
Way more. By the end, you were so much more in tune with your body.
Yeah, I think, because before it was like, shut up and just do it.
No, now you know what I mean? Nutrition, you realize to be an athlete it wasn't just brute strength and bowling through it. It was like, being, intelligent too.
Yeah, and it helped, like, you know, being with G and Ricky, like, kind of helping me, guiding me through those things. Because, it was more like, just get the weight up before.
No, with you, it was always, you know, I pushed you hard, but, you know, you needed to be pulled back a little bit too.
Yeah.
From what, you know, the reins put on you. Because you would overdo it if I let you. You know, I want to do 5 more, you know?
Yeah, there was
more
days.
weight on it. Because there's days where you can't go that heavy all the time.
Yeah.
And
you did a good job at noticing that. Like, some days I'd come in.
Well, I knew you would.
Yeah, so how much of that is, like, how do you read that? Like,
I could know, the second we warmed up, I would know your mood.
Do you know that with all your clients?
Yeah. Well, you showed your heart on your sleeve a little more than I.
Yeah.
You know, I could just tell by the look in your eyes and the frustration or the look that you had, like if you were injured or you weren't feeling good. Because you had a few times where a month or two you just didn't feel right. I remember.
Yeah.
Like, and you showed, and we had to slow down a little bit. But you know, I mean, I could tell when you could warm me up if you felt good or not. You just got pissy.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that separated AJ from some of the guys that you've worked with?
He was willing to do I call it those 10% things, you know, to sacrifice. You'd never, you know, he'd come in from a plane and he'd be at the gym, whether he, you know, just had 0 sleep or 99% of the people would say, hey, I'm taking today off. He just had the work ethic to do it, and he just was willing to do things other people weren't. That's basic. That's a perfect way to put it. Just a lot of people aren't willing to do what you did to be where you were. They just wouldn't put that kind of effort into it.
Yeah.
Whether it was eating or nutrition or sleeping or finding rena, whatever it was.
Right.
You found a way to, like, do things other people wouldn't do, and that's why they lasted a year and you were in there for a long time.
It never fails that when we're in this process, because we don't know what we're looking for until we find it.
Yeah.
And then that you grab onto something, you're like, all right, we're gonna go in on that. And you said it, and it was like, shit, man, I'm just still trying to figure out who AJ is. And when we heard that, we were like, we both looked at each other like, that right there. This show is that journey. Who is AJ Ramos?
Yeah.
And then you take that idea of who are you, and that's what you're asking these other people. You're on that journey. You're on that journey trying to still discover who you are in this thing, man. Because that's what life is. It's a constant discovery. The discovery does not stop when you transition in and out of things, whether it's a new job, whether it's a marriage, whether it's tragedy, whether it's you're still on this journey of who am I,
And it's
how
like
do
all
things
of those
define us?
elements that you're like, what do you define as success? What are the moments that you are trying to overcome? At the end of the day, that is what really quantifies who someone is.
Right.
So it is like finding out who they are, what makes them tick, what is like tough for them to face.
Yeah.
So it's like the umbrella of all those elements that are scattered, like kind of mending it all together.
Man, you know, my parents were really strict, but that was one of the reasons that got me to where I am now. And you know, my mom is big in faith, goes to church every Sunday or Saturday, whichever day works best for her, every week, never misses. So I can thank my mom for a lot of the situations that I could have got in, but her prayers helped me, you know. My dad is a very logical person, and I felt like he had a big part in crafting the mindset to get me to where I am now. There are times where I know I felt like low self-worth, and he would be able to motivate me in a way to where like I overcome those things, or analyze things to where or say things to me to where I can like not allow that to take over my mindset, you know what I mean? To where, like, you know, there was this kid that lived down the street that was like just advanced, like he matured faster than me, and I was always like, yeah, but he's better than me. He doesn't ever work hard. He doesn't ever blah blah blah. And my dad was like, I don't give a shit. He was like, I guarantee you keep working like this. The only reason he's better than you is because he is more mature. He hit puberty faster than you. I guarantee you when you guys are similar in like where you guys hit puberty and you guys are around the same like strength level and stuff, he's not going to know what to do because he doesn't know how to work hard. But you've worked hard your whole life or your whole time up to this point that it's going to be second nature to you. And so he instilled that mindset in me so that whenever I was in high school, when I was in college, I loved it when people showed weakness. Even if they're on my team, I'm like, I'm better than you. Because my mind mine's not gonna allow me to fail. I'm gonna find a way to succeed. And that whole mindset came from my dad, is finding a way to succeed, and I think, and the faith helped me to believe that, like, even when times were shit, all I gotta do is keep working hard and keep believing that there's a plan and like God has me, like, boom, I'm good. You know what I mean? So like those are the two things that balanced me throughout this whole process to where it helped me handle hard times. It helped me get through it helped me handle good times as well, like in a right way and not like taint them. You know what I mean? Not go crazy because I understand that the hard work it took to get there. So why would I do something to mess up all of that stuff, all that hard work that I did? So it was like they gave me really good core principles to like allow me to succeed and handle the success a little bit better,
As you move forward, who is AJ?
That's the question I'm trying to find out. That's the reason for the show. That's the $1 million question for me. So this is my journey into figuring that out. And in the end, I don't know, we'll see what I come up with. But as of right now, I know what I'm not anymore. I'm not a baseball player. So, and who is AJ? He's a work in progress. We'll see.